Hello, welcome to When the Smoke Clears. I am the Recovery Plug. How are you doing today? Well, you know how I like to get my videos started, always with a moment of silence, followed by the serenity prayer for the addict who still suffers. If you would, a moment of silence, please. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Alrighty, well, let's get started. Well, today I wanted to touch on a topic that I've heard a story today it's a two-part story. I guess it's a negative and a positive to the world of recovery and addiction. And what I heard today was there was a statistic that was thrown out today in the news here for the city of San Antonio, Texas, and it was a woman had passed away while incarcerated here at the Bexar County Jail, and supposedly she died from the withdrawals of her addiction, and she was. It was just kind of hit me kind of in a weird way, because I was incarcerated at one point in time here at the same county jail, and well, let me go back to the story real quick. The statistic that they said on the news was that since I think the month of June of this year, there has been 6 deaths in that county jail due to addiction. And I'm just that number should be 0, and there should be no way that people should be going to jail and dying because of their addiction while they're in jail. And to me, my interpretation of that is that there's no part of the system that helps you mentally for mental illness and addiction. And because being an addict and having any sort of mental problem, that's a disease, that's a neurological brain disease that we got. So there are many different forms of neurological brain disease, and for me personally, I suffer from the neurological brain disease in the sense of PTSDs and drug addiction and traumatic childhood experiences. So, I've never gone out to get help. I'm getting the help now, but I hadn't gone to get the help because I didn't know that there was anything wrong with me. And when I heard the story of this woman dying in jail, and knowing that she died from withdrawals of her addiction, it was just like, oh my God, when I was there, I had the same charge as many others. And when I was going up in front of the judge, there was a few fellas that went up before me. They had basically the same charge, and they got sentenced to 2 years incarceration in prison. And when it was my turn to go up to the judge, I was just freaking out, because I was like, oh my God, if these dudes got 2 years for that charge, then I'm fixing to get the same thing. And it was just so automatically, when you're in a situation like that, you start praying and you start thinking, please, something help me, because I'm fixing to have to go do 24 months in TDC that, I don't want to. And I'm like, gosh, it wasn't that much that I got caught with, but, nonetheless, you break the law, right? And when you're in the world of addiction, you don't care about what the consequences are. You're just trying to remedy that particular feeling when you're an addict. And when I was there and fixing to get, I guess, sentenced in a sense, I don't know. I guess by my higher power, the grace of God, whatever you want to call it, miracles happen, right? So what happened to me was that I got a reduced sentence. I don't know why I got chosen for that or what. So they reduced my sentence to a misdemeanor, and instead of having a $7,800 bond, it got dropped down to $100. So I freaked out. So all I needed was $10 to get out of jail, and guess what? I couldn't get a hold of anybody while I was there. You know what I mean? So to me, if that's not divine intervention, then I don't know what is, because that's not the end of the story. Let me elaborate a little bit more. When I got those papers and it said, okay, you know what, your charges dropped down. All you got to do is pay $100 fine or bail or whatever, and you can get out. So I was making phone calls, trying to, have somebody bail me out, and nobody would answer, right? So I went back to my cell, and I wound up staying there for another 2 weeks before I got called up to talk to someone. And out of the blue, officer comes up to me, Flores, you got to go up here and talk to some social worker. So I don't know, I didn't submit for that or anything, and I got chosen to go up there. I talked to the social worker. The social worker asked me if I wanted to, go to a drug program, rehab in other words. So I was like, I'm still thinking like an addict, and then my first thing is like, hey, you know what? If it's gonna get me out of jail, then I'll go. And when I got that paperwork, to the releasing paperwork, it said I had 24 hours to report to the rehab center once I got out of the Bexar County Jail. So my mind automatically already had that 24 hours covered, and I already knew what I wanted to go do within those 24 hours before I went to that rehab, right? So when it was time for me to get released, which was like another week or 2 weeks later. So mind you, I'm still sitting in the Bexar County Jail for a month for free. Like I should have been out, and I still had to stay there. So when that happened, it was time for me to get out. The process people, they processed me out, and I'm in line to get out, and they go, no, you have to come over here. You have to ride with these people because they're going to the same facility you're going to. So I was like, okay, well, I'm bitching because I'm like, well, where's my 24 hours? It says I got 24 hours to report, and they're like, no, get in the van. So needless to say, what I had to do was, as soon as I got out, I didn't even get out into the free world. I went into that van and drove straight to the rehab center. So now I'm at the rehab center, and I'm pissed because I'm still asking for my 24 hours. I'm like, where's my 24 hours? You robbed me of my high time. You know what I mean? And so anyway, my point here is that if that's not a divine intervention in a sense, then I don't know what is. And it's just like, why did I get chosen to do that, and I didn't get chosen like the other people that got chosen with the same charge to go to TDC for 2 years? I'm just blown away by that, because I'm just like, why did I get chosen for that? Well, I don't know, and I'm still searching for that answer. But what I do know is that the clarity that I got from being sober from the time I got into jail, so that whole time being sober, and then going to the rehab center for 60 days, being sober there, and then getting all this knowledge and reminded knowledge that I've already had, because this was, mind you, my third treatment center. And when things started clearing up, you know what I mean, the smoke starts clearing in my mind, and I'm understanding more in depth of why I have the disease and what the disease does to you, and how you can remedy that disease in a positive way, because you'll never get rid of the disease. You're always going to be an addict, but how you react to those things is what determines whether you stay in that dark, deep realm, or you enter the realm of sobriety and positivity. So going back to the story of this woman, I was just so surprised that from June to present day, there's 6 people in that county jail have passed away because of withdrawals from their drug addiction. They died. And the positive note to that is the fact that on the same segment of the story was a different story of a facility that the county is building. Today was groundbreaking day on it, and it's a facility of a place. It's going to have 100 and some odd beds there. It's a treatment center for mental illness and drug addiction, and it's going to be collaborated with the county jail in a sense, so that anybody going into the county jail arrested at a certain level of charges, then you can potentially get to go to this treatment center. Then you don't have to pay for it, and because it's part of the budget of the county that is allocated in that somewhere, and they're paying for people that are getting incarcerated with mental illness and drug addiction, so that they can get help, and they're not sitting there suffering in a county jail and not knowing what to do. And you know, when you're stuck like that, your stress level goes up. When your stress levels go up, then it's unhealthy for your body, so you start getting other ailments and stuff. But that's another story, and but it's unhealthy nonetheless. So to know that there's going to be a facility that's going to be helping people is good, and it's just not enough, because we don't have facilities like that in this town that are enough beds to help people to go to these treatment centers and stay there for 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, whatever it may be. And but nonetheless, it's a positive step forward in moving into that positivity realm, right? So that's why I do these podcasts, is so that maybe my story can resonate with someone and help someone in that sense that there is light at the end of the tunnel, and those days that you have out there in the street, because I've been in the bad addiction world. I've been out there in the streets, sleeping on park benches, behind the buildings, with cardboard box, or in the tent communities. You see these tent communities all over the town, and I've been there. I mean, I've lived in those places, and in the abandoned houses, in the streets, in street life, and they're called bandos. And in those bandos, there's people that live in these abandoned houses, and it's because they got nowhere to go, and it seems like the end of the world. But I'm here to tell you that it's not. And those places like that, and in the motels, I lived a lot of my life in the motels, and doing whatever it needs to be done, so that you can not only pay for the motel, but to pay for your food, to especially pay for your drugs, because first and foremost, when you're in the life of addiction, that is the main thing, and that's the main focus in your life, is where are we going to get the next hit? What are we going to do to get the next hit? What kind of lick am I going to have to do that? And I can sit here and tell you today, as a sober addict, that I don't have to think like that today. You know what I mean? Because by the grace of God, that I was able to go to the treatment center and reprogram my mind to something that I already knew, but that I just fell off and decided to try to do it on my own again, and it led me nowhere. And just like a buddy of mine in Lifetime Recovery alumni meetings would say, if you do nothing for your sobriety, then guess what? Nothing's going to happen. So I'm here to tell you that there's light at the end of the tunnel. There's light at the end of those dark, deep, freaking halls of despair that you're in when you're just out there and you're pissed off. You seem like there's no way out. Like, man, is this my life? Is this where it ends for me? Is this where I wind up? Well, I'm here to tell you that it's not. because I've done it and I've been there and I've been able to get out, and I'm here to do my due diligence in doing these podcasts and these videos to give away what I've learned and what has helped me along the way to get into this realm of sobriety and positivity. So I'd like to share that with everybody, and hopefully my words resonate with somebody, that I'm able to save somebody. I'm able to save one person with mental health or addiction. Then if I can do that, and if my words do that, then hey, you know what? My due diligence to my service work to give away what I have, then I'm happy about that. And I pray and every day in my meditations, and that, you know, God give me the strength to keep doing things like this. And you know, I got a few projects that are in the work that I'm trying to you know, launch off, and you know, I need all the help that I can get, and I'll go over those things a little bit more in depth in another episode. But if you please hit the like button, subscribe to my channel, and this will really help me launch these things off, and I'd appreciate the help, because I know that I can't do it on my own. So please hit the like channel, hit the subscribe channel, hit the bell, give me a comment, share my channel, and I'd really appreciate that. And you know, if you're struggling and you think you need help and you're ready to try it out, you know, in this realm of addiction, of sobriety and positive recovery, then I would like to share my email. You can give me a shout out in that email, and if I can help you in any way, shape, or form, I will. And if I can't, I will definitely be able to navigate you with some numbers and some people's facilities that help me along the way. So yeah, and also I would like to I always like to give out the few locations of meetings that I attend to. So if you're in the San Antonio location, and if you're not, I'm sure you can attend these virtually. So it's the Esperanza group in downtown west side of San Antonio. It is the North Central group is the Winners Club, or the Northwest group, I'm sorry, is the Winners Club. The North Central group is Club 12, and the southeast side of town is the Goliath group. So go out and visit these places, attend a meeting. I'm telling you, you may resonate with a message out that way somewhere. And all these people are great people. They won't turn you away. They'll show you some love, most definitely. And if nobody hasn't told you that they care for you today, or that they love you, you know what, man? I care for you, I love you, and I hope to see you in the world of recovery and positivity. And thanks for watching my channel, and I'll see you all next time. But when the smoke clears, I am your recovery plug.